and human trafficking. When you read that, many times the first thing we think about is predator stings, which is true. We do a lot of that. We do it with our friends like Chris Hansen and sheriffs around the state and the country. But there's another layer that we're going to talk to you about today that is just as deadly and just as dangerous. It's called sextortion. My name is Chris Swanson, the sheriff of Genesee County, founder of Ghost. Sergeant Tori Dallas, a Ghost commander, has been on the ground since its beginning in 2018. What is sextortion?
Sextortion is basically, it's blackmail, where somebody, a suspect, gains somebody's trust, gets that person to send a video, an image of them, and then flips the script and then demands more, either more images or, unfortunately, money. And if they don't do it, then they'll take those images that they got from you and expose you and share it.
And we've seen this kind of ramp up over the years because there's money involved.
Absolutely.
And the majority of our investigations, where are these suspects, the majority of them up until this story, where do they normally come from?
The majority of these suspects come from overseas. They come from Nigeria, they come from Asia even. Very rarely we've seen them in the States.
So it's an industry, and this is what these horrible people do every day. They fish people to try to bring them in. So break down from the first time you either get a text, a DM on Instagram or Facebook, how does it go from just a simple question to people are taking their lives? Explain that.
Oftentimes what happens, the number one age group of what the FBI is seeing is males between the ages of 14 and 17. But we've seen it as high as 80 years old, just here in Genesee County. But what happens is you have usually somebody that portrays themselves as an attractive female. They slide into their DMs or, see them on Facebook and might, slide into their comment section, take them offline to another, chatting platform. They start chatting and then they start asking for photos.
This is grooming.
This is grooming. And what I've seen, just downloading the phone so I can kind of get, a peek behind the curtain and see how it is. And they're like, wow, you're really cute. Here's a photo of me. And it's a clothed photo. And then you send a photo. And then that person sends a nude photo. And they're like, well, let me have a photo of you. And then they share a photo. As soon as that photo gets sent, bam, automatically, what that person normally does is they take a screenshot, a screen grab of your friends list, everything. And then they do their own little OSINT search, their own little reverse image or reverse searches. Well, they'll take your picture. They'll find out your social media. So they'll find out, who your parents are, who your spouse is, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. And they'll say, this photo, they'll take that photo that you sent, send it back to you with the photo of your wife, your mother, your pastor, your teacher. Send me another photo, send me $200, or I'm going to let everybody in your friend list know what you did.
There's an industry, there's a criminal enterprise that's doing this. Do you agree?
Yes. And it's not hard to do because we as people, our digital footprints are huge. I've talked about this before. I can gain so much just of what you post on your social media page. So it's not hard to do. You don't have to go on the dark web to find this information out. It's super easy.
And the gateway to us, everybody watching right now knows exactly what I'm talking about. When you've gotten a text from somebody who says, are we still on for Thursday night? Or are we still golfing on Wednesday? Or, hey, did you hear about Sarah? Or talk to me about Adam? Or it's just an opening. And when you respond back to that, like, who is this? Or I don't know who you are. That's what they want.
Yeah. And a lot of times that happens, but I see it on Facebook all the time. I see public groups. I've even seen it in our page. We'll post something, you'll post a story, somebody will comment, and then you'll get this random person commenting under your comment saying something like, wow, you're really interesting. I really want to be your friend. Can we be friends online? And what's interesting is if you look at that picture, it's always somebody like in the military. Yeah. We see that, especially in our seniors, the financial fraud. We get that a lot where somebody, an elderly person is talking to somebody online and then they start sending money that way. But just going online, and you'll see it. You'll see it in neighborhood groups all the time. But it's super easy, and then you just chat and become friends.
Literally just a week before we cut this video, we had an elderly mother who thinks that she is building this relationship with a retired commander in the military and was about to send $30,000. That's a whole nother story. But that's the same MO. That's how they groom. Sextortion, very difficult to find these individuals. Many times money is exchanged. And there are times, and we've seen this with our good friend who did an amazing job in Marquette County, Sheriff Zybert, with a young kid in high school. And that led into some local changes that are now statewide. And then we're going to talk about a case that we're dealing with right now that's going to just blow your mind. So tell us about Jordan.
It's Jordan DeMay. This happened in Marquette, Michigan. He was a young kid. I think he was a senior in high school, and he was a victim of sextortion. And oftentimes when people think about victims in these circumstances, they think about the loner kid, the kid that, doesn't talk to anybody, where this is the complete opposite. From everything that I have read, this kid was an absolute stud. He was a homecoming king. He was in football, everything. He had a girlfriend.
Loving family.
Loving family. Everything on paper, you would never think that this kid would be a victim. Within 24 hours, somebody contacted him, he was sextorted, images were sent, money was demanded, and then he committed suicide. The perpetrators of this, I believe, were in Nigeria.
That's right, brothers.
But from this, a law was passed this year, or this January of 2025, Jordan's Law. So that has severe penalties, or just even more penalties for sextortion.
That's right. And I just want to, again, give all the credit to Sheriff Zybert and his team and the feds, and they worked with Interpol, and they got these guys back. They're in actually Michigan Department of Corrections right now, and it was the first time ever, so they did a fabulous job. But we're going to transition into a case now where it is sextortion, it is human trafficking, and it's local. And this is a twist that even I've not seen since 2018. Tell us about this.
So it's an unrelated case. We had a phone from a suspect for a human trafficking. As I did a forensic download, started going through conversations, looking for something specific, came across something else. This person, who is, a young, petite female, by all, accounts, she just looks like the girl next door, is actively sextorting. I think I got up to like over 70 men. 70. Conversations where she had met these guys on dating sites.
Which are legal.
As
long as you're of age and consent.
Yes. And she would send them, nude photos. She'd ask for one in return. And as soon as that person sent that photo, she went through, found them on Facebook, found them on Insta. Now, these were adults.
Yes.
Sent a picture of their husband and their girlfriend. And yes, they're on a dating site and they have significant others. That happens all the time. She says, either pay me $300 or I'm going to let your wife know that you're sending these photos to me. And they all did. And it was just over and over, like they'd send $20, send, $50. And then it got all the way up to one I think I saw, it was like over $1,000. And they're begging, please stop. I'm giving you everything I have. But she's holding this over them, the shame and everything. And I've just never seen something where the perpetrator was somebody right here and was a female. She was sharing photos of herself and she didn't have any shame. She was like, she sent them because she knew what the end game was.
And I think the key to this story is Ghost found her because of a ghost investigation. But doing our further investigation, we call them spin-off cases, we found that she was actually the predator and she was sextorting. And there's people out there that right now that if you are a victim of this and you want to be confidential, you can come into the sheriff's office and we will give you your voice. Giving a voice to voiceless is not gender specific or age specific. It's about giving you your freedom back. And yes, we've all made mistakes, but Ghost is there to restore that. And if somebody wants to come in, and could they be anonymous?
They can, if they want to press charges, and that's
Correct.
A whole different thing. But yes, I mean, just to kind of get that ball rolling.
Yes.
But to let them know that you're not alone.
Right.
We can look and see, where this took place at, and just kind of peel back those layers.
Yeah.
But you're not alone. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Nobody's going to judge you. And
right.
that's the problem, that these suspects, the predators, they're banking on you being ashamed. They're banking
That's
on
right.
you being ashamed, and that you're not going to tell anybody. I'm going to let everybody know what you did. But let them know that police is there to support you.
So we have some quick takeaways as we close this out. Again, end human trafficking is more than just predator stings. It's sextortion. It's all the things that Tori and I have just mentioned. And then it's not just international. It's not just happening over there. It's happening right in your backyard. Share this message. Go to our description and you can go to Ghost Certification and learn when Tori talks about grooming and the stages of grooming and how they use this as their algorithm to destroy your life. You got to know that and then share it with your loved ones. Be aware of it for yourself. When a message pops up that you don't know somebody and you don't understand where it comes from, what should you do?
Don't answer it. Don't ever do that. If you go on their page, first thing you're going to do is you're going to click on that profile before you respond. Number one, look and see when was that profile created. Two, look at the friends and followers. If it is just females, that's a red flag.
So you have a lot of information here. If you need to know more, you come into the sheriff's office. If you're not from this area, you can send an email, contact your own sheriff or law enforcement, ask about what's going on. But Ghost is there all over. The reason why we're global human oppression strike team is because people from this county, they travel the state, they travel the country, they travel the globe, and predators have no boundaries. So do your part, learn about it, be preventative, and if something happens, just come forward. We'll give you your voice back.